Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream Monday night. We have Shane from Hughes Lockout Garage in the house, all
Hello.
the way from Brisbane, Australia. And then we got
Yeah.
George and we got Shotgun Dave, usual
Hey guys.
suspects. Let's see who's in the chat here. We got, let's see, chat's been busy. We got the fingers in the house. Chris Freda is here. Stock Car 2021. I saw Pete earlier, but I think he's gone back to bed. We have Bo from Germany. Let's see. We have John Tucci, Dan. Let's see. Who else we got? Jeff G's in the house. DeLeon. Welcome to the DeLeon is here. Cool. Cyberg. Hey, Carlos, how are you? Bryce. Shot. Slot Car Daddy is in the house. Let's see. Who else
What's up,
is
Bo?
here? Who else is here? Shane Scriven is here. Oh, is it Ian or Doug from Things Electric? Let me know, guys, who's here from Things Electric. Gary's here. All right. Well, yeah, it's 30 people in the house watching us, so
30.
Sunshine Speedway is here. Looks like we're gonna have a busy one tonight. So hopefully everyone's doing well. So before we get into it, I'll just go around and see how everyone's doing. How's the last week? So we'll start with George. How was your week, George?
Uh, Good.
Good? Busy?
Yep, busy.
Did you get any hobby time in?
Well, I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday like I usually do. I kind of really overdid it. I worked two 16-hour shifts, then a 12, and then that was the end
Ooh,
of the week. So
yeah.
I didn't do much until this morning. I did finish my chassis kit, so I got a video coming out with some pictures and stuff. But it's mainly just this is what the kit is right here. This is what you
Nice.
turn it into. This is this. So runs real good. Really easy to put together. Not too hard. So I'll have some stuff out for that. And this is the body I'm using. I'm partially hogging out one wheel well, and you can see the difference. But this is that Atlanta Z28 kit, and
Nice.
that's about it. I did that this afternoon, so it took me like about 3.5 hours to put together. So
Right. Pretty cool. Anyway, we got Slot Valley Racing and Ian is here from Things Electric. Hey Ian, how are you? We like all your kits, especially Shane does. So Shane, how's your week last week?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah. I haven't been building any cars. I've been assembling crowd control barriers.
Nice.
Lots of crowd control barriers.
Yeah.
Oh, and these are cool. I'm
Yeah.
loving these things.
oh, they're nice. Yeah, those are cool.
Painting them different colors depending on
Oh,
what
cool.
cars. I think they're fantastic. But
Yeah,
yeah,
very
that's about it. That's
Cool.
about it.
And Dave, how you doing?
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
been busy.
How those VW kits coming out? Good.
Yeah, they're going. I've got quite a few of those cast, and I spent today working on my chassis and getting that done. And I got some other projects back here behind me, casting some more cars. Yeah, I've been busy.
Nice. 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 Let's see. I'm just trying checking the chat. See what happens. All right. Well, let's go into our presentation. All right, and so here we are. We're gonna start off. Let's talk about new cars coming out. Anybody have any specials that they're looking for? I'm looking forward to this Ferrari 412P. I think it's just released. I have the original red and blue one. Let's check with the chat, see what they're looking at. Anybody in the chat got any new cars they're looking forward to? Let me know. What about you guys? Talk about Hugh. Hugh, do you have any cars that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I was online shopping again late last night.
Yeah.
I got another Porsche at last. Not
Oh,
the
oh, you
not not the Bumblebee one. I
no?
found it's the silver and black Proton racing
Oh
one.
yeah,
You know the one? I thought
yeah.
that looked really good.
I don't know that one. I have
It looks
no
nice,
idea.
very nice. So I'm
Yeah,
waiting on that, and I grabbed the Mustang, the white with the blue stripes. Is it number 76? I like that one,
yeah.
Hmm.
Looks
and that's
good.
about it. Oh, and I got another project car coming. It's an M1 BMW. It's got
Good
the
Okay.
choice.
Red Bull livery, of course.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it the matte one? It's the matte blue one with the US
Yeah,
flag on it. Yeah,
yeah. It's
nice.
an old one, but again, it's got no motor or bits in it. You just put whatever you like in. Because we just had the big Bathurst race here, and the Red Bull team, of course, they sort of won it again.
Yeah,
It's all the rage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Yeah, and Dave, I'm not gonna ask you whether you're looking for a new car because you just build whatever you want. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, nothing really on my radar. Although I did see today the Revo Opal, that
yes.
lime green one. That thing kind of caught my eye. So I don't know, maybe.
Look at
So
that.
it's so funny. I picked the lime green one too. When I looked at it, I was like, if I was gonna buy one of them, it would be the lime green one too.
It's probably our little Mopar thing, maybe that
Yeah, I guess so.
draws us to that.
I guess so. Let's see. So, let's see what the chat has. Oh, Sunday Slot Car says that he's looking forward to. Let's see this one here. Looking forward to trying the new M1 Pro car. So this week we're racing. Global Racing League is racing the Group 5 cars. So that's what he's talking about.
Cool.
And then what else we got here? DeLeon is looking for the Carrera VW hippie bus. I like that one too. I
Yeah,
think it's gonna be fun to get that as well.
Got to have the
perfect.
Volkswagen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Oh, here the Pioneer Camaro. I did like it. Number
Yeah,
6.
that's right. The
It looks good.
Donahoe, Mark
Yeah,
Donahoe,
Oh
is it?
yeah, those are cool.
Yellow and blue one.
yeah,
Ton of cool one.
yeah. So it's pretty cool.
And both liveries, they're flip flopped. I like that too. That's pretty neat. I like that.
Yeah, they look really nice. Yeah, so it's a pretty good selection of new cars coming out. So should be pretty exciting. It's funny how everything's waited till the last quarter here to get released. For a long time, we had a drought of cars, and now we're spoiled for some choice, which is great.
Yeah.
But let's get into the meat and potatoes, and let's put Shane in the spotlight here, and let's talk about how this crazy playground behind you came into effect. And yeah, tell us your story, Shane. Tell us
Disneyland.
why, when you got into slot cars, how you got into it, why you chose Carrera, etc., etc. Take it away,
Ah,
sir. It's all yours.
good questions. Well, like most people, way back, back in the sticks and stones and hunter gathering days.
Yeah,
What is that bubble doing on there? Yeah, I had Scalextrics like everybody else. I had the high hump
yeah,
and all that stuff. The mini miners. What are they? Morris mini miners,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ford Escorts, and things like that. And then that was about age 13, 14. And then what happened? 80s came in, and all of a sudden that stupid Atari fake Space Invaders video game thing arrived and just took over.
yeah,
And then, as we're aware, all the slot car folk just went, oh, okay, we give up. There was no more advertising. They used to advertise all the time. TV, radio, print, it was everywhere. There was Scalextrics, AFX, Tyco, remember them all?
Yep.
And then they
Yeah.
just sort of took a back seat and didn't say, well, okay, we're not talking, we're not saying anything. And it was just video game, video game, video game. And now I think we're all getting sick of video games, and particularly after the pandemic. Yeah, that
yeah,
had a interesting effect, didn't it?
Yep.
And around about that time, I was sort of closing my studio with 27 years down. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be semi-retired now. I'm probably going to need a hobby. And that's when I was watching videos, and that slot car guy, that was a regular one. And yours, Raoul, your videos that were doing, the car reviews.
Oh yeah.
You know, they were great, and great photography, and you pulled the cars apart, showed what's inside, put them on the track. I'm like, oh, I'm liking this. So I started learning about this thing called Carrera Digital,
Yeah.
because I was still thinking 2 lanes analog, and it blew my mind how you can have more cars on the track, how you can hook software up to it. There's race management software, the whole interactivity with the family. It's mind blowing. So I thought, I think I might get one of them. And of course, being a grown adult, not being in it for a while, I'm thinking, whoa, what's my wife going to think when I go and say, well, I'm going to start a new hobby? So I was a bit sheepish, but I went out and I said, I'm thinking of getting some slot cars. And she goes, we had those. When are you getting it? I'm like, oh, okay. I'll go and place an order. And yeah, everyone loves it. It's fantastic. And so I just needed to make a decent sized table. So we mucked around, packed it away, got it out, set it up, mucked around, packed it away for about 6 months. And then February this year, I built this table properly and went through about 12 redesigns before I'm sitting up in my office. I think it was a Sunday. And a certain video comes on with you guys saying, if you're getting into this, try hitting record. And
Ooh.
I went, that's an interesting idea. And here we are.
And we're better
Crazy.
for it too. So that's good.
We
That's
The
certainly
first
good.
are.
the first video you did was like really impressive when I first saw the channel, and I
Really? Yeah.
seen
It was,
the banner you had made, and I was like, yeah, this looks interesting. Let me check this out. And the way everything rolled, and again, you're a pro at this. You can really
it,
tell. I was like,
it
holy
was
smokes,
scary.
this is
Yeah.
pretty
So we
Well,
have
damn
a
good. I
question.
actually enjoyed this a lot, and I, kind of linked it around to some of the guys I know. Check this channel out, man. This guy's having
right.
fun because that's what it's all about, is to have fun. And
That's
Yeah.
good.
pretty
Yeah. No,
impressive.
well,
So
I was not going to make it public. I was going to just set them all to private, and I was just going to document my layout as I put it together, and maybe make it public later on. But in the 11th hour, I thought, nah, let's give it a go. And that's when I raced out to the swimming pool and recorded my silly feet and put that little, thinking about the past voiceover over the top. And I think that hit a chord, struck a chord. Is that the term?
that did.
People loved it.
I
People
like it.
loved that. They're
Yeah.
looking back and going, yeah, that's right. And
So there's a question from
yeah,
Flockar Daddy here, Shane. So Shane, did you finally get rid of that pesky predator?
no, no, no. The predator may return.
Excellent.
May return. Yeah. There's some strange noises out there at night. I think he goes over to your area of the world, has a big fight with old Arnie again. Boof, 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 boof. Gets all war damage, and he comes back and washes it off in the pool. It turns bloody green.
Yeah.
No, the idea is to find a bloody prosthetic outfit and get some twit to dress up in it and be out
Yeah,
there one day, and I'll run out with the camera and go, "See, I told ya, it's real." But no one's volunteering.
Uh,
Yeah. No, I just needed an angle
hey,
because we were going to call
Travis
that
just got
Predator
back.
Corner.
Well, Shane, Travis just got back to Australia. Maybe you can get him to dress it up as the
We can put
predator.
him in the Predator outfit.
Yeah,
I
there's
really
always
look
there's
forward.
always options. So
We can lure him up here under false pretenses. Okay, now you got to get in the outfit. That's just the little caveat there, mate. I
yeah,
wonder if he'd do it.
probably
That'd be
will.
funny.
Yeah, it'd be fun. All right, so you got your track out, you assembled it, you put your table
Yeah.
together, you put it on. So give me the thought process on which cars you went with first, why you went with them, and then slowly how you
Right.
built your collection up. Because you have a decently, growing collection right now. So
Growing it. Well, I just hit number 19, so don't get too carried away there.
it's okay. It's
Number
a
19's
process.
on its way.
There was a
Whoa!
time when Marty had only 5, and today
Yeah,
he has
Really?
almost 100.
uh,
So don't worry,
Yeah.
it gets you up there really quick. So
The first item I purchased was this one, a Lambo, and I thought that looked great.
yeah,
And it arrived, and I thought, well, it might be a good idea to get an actual track to run it on. And so, and then I had the conversation with the wife, and she was all for it. And I ordered, what was it, the GT face-off set. That was, I found a place that had half price, and it had 8 meters of track and
Hmm.
2 lane changes. I thought, okay, that's the set. And then I got to try out this car.
Right.
Not so good. And then that came with the Ford GT. Not so good.
Okay.
And the Porsche, not too bad. And then I went and got this one, and this one killed it. It stayed on the bloody track,
Howdy.
Right.
even with standard tyres. And now it's all tricked out, and it's pretty amazing. But yeah, we were getting frustrated. We actually put it all away
Yeah.
for a few months because everyone was complaining, why can't we keep these cars on the track? What's going on? And we figured out, I think it was MP Slot Cars video on, he did a tyre tryout comparison laps, and the Quick Slick's got the fastest lap time on his track. And I thought, well, I'm running a plastic track, I'll get a set and give it a go. And that was on that BMW, which was absolutely terrible. You just look at it and it'd come off the track. It's like, don't look at it. And it transformed it. It went from being the worst car out of the box to the best car in the garage. It's amazing. So that's where I'm starting to stumble and learn, about the art of modding. And these are simple mods. It's not like full on like what you guys do, but baby steps. But at least we can keep the cars on the track mostly now. So that's great.
So Shane, Danny just joined in. I don't know if you met
Hey,
Danny,
Danny.
from Big Slot Car Garage.
Hey.
He just joined in. We have a question from DeLeon to you. Shane, will we see a Halloween video from you?
That's a good idea. I haven't even thought of that.
No,
I've
you
only
really
been
had to get
thinking
that
about.
I have a crazy concept for Halloween that I'm working on, but yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Let's just say there's animatronics involved, so we'll have some fun.
Animatronics?
Yeah. So yeah,
That sounds
that one's
awesome.
coming out. So yeah, we'll have some fun with Halloween, I think.
And I guess
Exciting.
that's what we've been doing here is, or me. Well, you don't see. My daughter helps me out a lot. She doesn't like being on camera, so she's always in the background.
Yeah.
But it's just, we've just tried to have fun with it. Just be a bit silly. I know some of the content I was watching a year ago, everybody was a bit, oh yeah, here's my slot car, and I've got this, and yeah, it was okay. But I thought, where's the joy? Where's the fun? Let's add a bit of life.
Yeah.
And I think it's caught on.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming to be the instigator of it, but you've noticed in the last 3 or 4 months, we're all coming to life. We're doing great content. The only problem is there's too much to watch. There's the camera. Yeah, there's too much to watch. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
They got to pick and choose.
Well, it's a good problem to have on our end.
It's a
We asked
very
for it.
good problem.
Yeah.
Very good problem.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah. All right. So so you started up. You have 19 cars now, and you've done all your terrain. You got
Just
really
about,
cool
yeah.
bridges. Like you really worked. You did a lot of work on your terrain, and you did it really fast, which was really impressive. And then you built that crazy big thing in the monstrosity in the back there, and you used a genius idea, which I'm going to have to try and emulate as well. So, you've
Yeah.
been innovating.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was
And-
interesting.
Oh yeah, it was a great build. It was an awesome build, even just to watch. I love the build videos because you have a lot of fun with them, and that's what it's all about. So it's been awesome to watch.
It's everything he's done to the track, the painting, the carving of the mountains, all the characters. It's all melded for like it's enjoyable. Period. Everything you've done to the track. Enjoy.
Yep, I agree with
And
that.
don't forget, I don't actually know what I'm doing. You get to watch me. Here's a guy who's just trying it out, and I think that's the message for everyone. It doesn't matter if you don't think you can do any of this stuff. Just dive in and have a try. You'll surprise yourself.
None of us know what we're doing.
We certainly don't. We're just
The thing
figuring it
I'm
out.
really thrilled about at the moment is putting the little lights in the garage. Just a simple thing like that has made a huge difference. That's cool.
Yeah, the lighting is pretty cool. You've done a lot of work for that. All right.
So
Well,
that's it. Yeah,
that's it. That's it. That's the show, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. No.
all done.
See
Get
ya.
Travis in his prosthetics.
Well, you gotta understand, he's just about built everything there. Those
Yeah.
bridges, everything. Everything you see on that
So
layout is him.
Yeah,
let's
where's
go
Betty?
to this, which is yesterday
Ah,
night. We did we talked about should we talk about today, and you brainstormed with me on our little test stream, and we decided that we would go with this topic here, which is the rise of YouTube and what it's done. And you in your last video, you kind of took a little swipe at the retailers. So let's talk about that. I think we're all here. I mean, we have a lot of history in the slot car world in front of us right now. Let's talk about what you feel on YouTube and what it's done and why the retailers should pay a little bit more attention to it. So I'll give you the floor first.
cool, thanks. Yeah, well, I have a background in commercial television. You might have picked up on that.
Yeah.
Used to do a lot of advertising tracks, commercials for the biggest companies, brands, etc. And we used to do a lot of shop locally campaigns for, Chamber of Commerce, etc. So I'm used to, how the whole machine works from the marketing and sales, supply, retail uh, angles. And what I've noticed lately, the stocks, the demand is going through the roof. The stores used to have just a selection, just a hint of slot car stock. You go in one big aisle and there's like just three shelves and a little space this big, and that was it. And then my last couple of trips, oh my God, there's so much stock all of a sudden. But even more important, there's customers. Even on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m., the store's packed.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, who's generating this buzz? And it's not the advertisers. They're not advertising. They're not pushing like they should be now because people are getting sick of video games. It's a perfect time to strike with some advertising campaigns. But they've just got a nice, safe social media presence. And as I said, it's not that crash hype. Blink and you'll miss it. You've got to be looking for it to see it. If you're a person who doesn't know it that slot cars are happening again, you'd never see it. And yeah, my thoughts is I just hope they start to, wake up a little bit and start reaching out to everybody, the people who are participating in all this, what we're doing on YouTube, the people watching it, more importantly. It's all about the whole community and just really start to, you know, lift the whole thing. But it just seems to be a bit, like tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, from that perspective.
Well, let
Now, there's a buzz
George
happening,
and
jump on it.
yeah. So George, maybe you can lend a little bit of what your thoughts are on. Do you think YouTube is making a big difference in the retailer market? Do you think they're doing enough to do more? What are your thoughts
Well,
on it?
as far as for YouTube, I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of self-help videos for, tuning cars and, putting layouts, picking layouts, making scenery. I mean, he uses one example of just going out and just painting a mountain on your wall there. That's pretty talented. I'm not much of a painter, but the way you did it, it seemed it flowed real nice. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. Like I said, there's a lot of things. It's hard to keep track. I think last year when we first started this, there wasn't as many channels. I think it blew up
It's only
more
this
when we
year,
started.
George. We only started in
Huh?
January this year.
Well, either
it
way,
feel,
this
feels
year,
like a
January,
lifetime already, but
it
it's not
did
even
seem
been a
like a
year
long
yet.
time. But either way, it's well within the year. Let me put it
Yeah.
that way. There wasn't that many last. Marty had just started doing stuff, and by
Yeah.
looking at Marty, he is the definition of how somebody progresses in the hobby. Well, people usually will start out with, the plastic track, have fun. They see digital. That's the big draw right there. Because going back to being a kid, like you said, AFX, I played a lot of TCR. That was the single lane, dual lane analog thing, two controllers, that's it. Now with the evolution of technology and all that stuff in digital world, people see that digital system, and then that really just wows them. And Carrera is the one that
Yeah.
really wows them, the digital system. I know Scale Electric had one. They still do, I think, the 7 car base one. I had it at one time. It was
Yeah.
okay, but Carrera seemed to offer more of the different scales, which is nice because if you don't, you can go to the larger cars if you want. It's kind of nice to have a big car on your track. Not that you want to, if you don't want to do it, but you have that option, and that's nice. It's a bigger footprint, but with the just everybody doing everything, and that's how I think a lot of the stock car stuff is starting to really boom. I know Home Racing World does a lot of things with various different things, and then you have all the retailers, the online stores. As far as retailing, we hear it a lot from people that have been in it. One in particular says that it's not feasible to have advertisement or to go to an event that cost and stuff like that, and it's a toy car and things like that. But all I could say is that it's it's tough. I wish it was more like the train people. The train industry or
Yeah.
the train hobby is huge, humongous. I mean, but it's I think a slot car is more difficult to deal with. Like again, nothing against the train people. You don't see people tuning a train. They make sure the track is intact and then like the layout. But when you deal with a slot car, that's a little bit more involved and stuff. So I mean, think people want to. Usually, generally, they'll want to throw the car on the track, and that's what Carrera and Scale Electric offers, and make sure that they stay on there and go, and you have fun with it. Then later on, if you want to progress to other stuff, that's where it's kind of nice, where you could, there's other manufacturers like all the big names, all the high end cars, and it just makes it fun. So it just all depends if you want to branch out. If you want to stay with Carrera and where you're at, that's great. There's nothing wrong as long as you're having fun with it. And that's the whole idea of it. So, but
Yeah, so there's De Leon has a question. Who thinks the new YouTube Create app will be a game changer for new content creators that have trouble with third-party editors? This is a very technical question, I guess, but anybody in YouTube would have to think about this. Um, we'll come back to this question a little bit later. I think De Leon will talk about that a little bit later. But let's get. So I mean, there are some retailers that are making a difference that are out there, and those are the progressive ones, or people that have online stores. Just like Sunday Slot Cars, they have an online store, so they started YouTube. I remember watching his YouTube channel earlier on. We also have people like Things Electric and Magnetic Racing who actually create tracks for different events and promote them in the public space, and they do their jobs. But we're not talking about that as a whole. We're talking more about the hobby world as in general. Obviously, Electric Dreams is doing a great job now, and they've paid more attention to it recently. So there is a kind of movement towards this, like, okay, we got to get a little bit more involved with the community, which is great. I think it's happening. Um, I do see that, the YouTuber is getting more prominent, but we need to still come back to reality and realize that our genre is small. We're still a very small genre compared to bigger hobbies that are around. And most hobby stores there's not a lot of hobby stores that are dedicated to our hobby per se. They just have a big hobby store, and there's a lot more. I guess like my local hobby store, there's have a lot more hobbies that will generate more revenue than a slot car
Yeah.
will, right? So they don't see value yet, um, and I've had like people would I know that in wargaming, so for instance, I'll go back there. What
Yeah.
has happened with the YouTube community as wargaming grew on YouTube, and they have huge channels now. Even celebrities are now involved in wargaming, like right. So Henry Cavill plays 40K, and he's made a huge impact. What happens though is they've done a lot of work with the YouTubers by doing like sending them the pre-releases before they launch out, so they can get that buzz going and get people to pre-sale, which is a smart idea. And I think maybe as we continue to do what we're doing, we'll see a shift towards that as we get more prominent. But saying that, I've seen like major YouTubers like Dave Kennedy does get sponsorship to go to events from LEB. I mean, just recently, Travis got sponsored by Magnetic Racing to go to the Electric Dreams event. So it is time to switch. Like I said, there are progressive retailers out there that are doing their part to try and push forward the hype. But we're still a very small genre, so I think it's going to take a little bit of time.
Well, it's smart. They're using the people that are on YouTube to help
Yeah,
them promote stuff. So
yeah. Danny, you want to weigh in on this, or Dave? Any ideas?
We don't have where I'm at here. We have very little retail presence as far as slot cars. In fact, I'm going to just say none, unless you go to like Hobby Lobby. They have 143rd and Auto World stuff, HO, and not
Yeah,
even that much. Like one box of stuff for each deal. But we used to have three hobby shops locally, like say within 20 miles of us here. And two of them have gone out of business, and the last one that's up only sells RC truck stuff. So, and the two that were in business before, they had a very small amount of electric cars and no tracks and nothing. There was literally no slot car presence out here at all. So, I wear my shirts around a lot, and I get people, especially like I go to school to pick up the kid or whatever. Somebody will ask, "Hey, you slot cars?" But that didn't even happen very often. It's like everybody just sort of forgot about it, I guess, out here. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think that what we're doing helps in some small way, where the thing is we need to figure out how to branch it out, I guess. I don't know how to do that, but we've created this small community of a few thousand people here, and we're supporting each other, which is fantastic, but it's not branching out past that. So, and I don't know how to make that happen.
That's a good point. Danny, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Dave there. I mean, we've got Hobby Lobby, and like you said, it's Carrera Go and the Auto World stuff, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's about an hour and a half away. There's Hobby Town that I haven't been to in Little Rock, and it may have some. I'm not quite sure, but honestly, the closest place to me to get slot cars would be Jim Cunningham. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, so DeLeon says we met a few people yesterday at Electric Dreams that haven't touched a slot car since the 70s. After running track, they were back in and left with new cars, which is great. So the question is, how did they get to Electric Dreams? What brought them in? That's the question I think you have to ask,
That's right.
right? Because we're not saying that once people see the hobby, they're not getting involved in it, but how did they get to see that hobby again? And I think that's where
I
that's
think
where the
Daily
hype
Own's
is coming
video
from.
really did that because he had how many views on that one video? There was a lot. That really kind of
Yeah.
I think got people to notice.
Right. So I'm just going through the chat here. Well, there's a lot of people that have joined in. Dusty's in the house. Daryl is in the house.
54.
Very cool. Steve S is in the house. Hey guys. Yeah. So in general, let's talk about what we can do. So Dave brought up a good point. How do we branch out? How do we get more people involved? What are we doing? What can we do as a community? And I've always said that it's better to build together than building separately and apart. So, but it's a good question Dave brought up. How do we work? And the chat is always involved here, so you guys can also throw ideas. How we do more to branch out and get more people involved. What was the thing you said, Dave? Right now, I forget the whole premise of it. Like you said that we as a community we have a small community. Like the slot vengers is like a start of something that I thought would be bigger, but it's just stayed stagnant at the 7 or 8 that we have, and I don't know
Well,
whether it's because we don't promote it as it's open to all.
I think you just hit it right there, Raul. I almost think that maybe the rest of the community thinks that the little slot vendors thing that we have going on is some little clique, and
Yeah,
I've noticed that that kind of happens. It happens in every hobby. It happens in every hobby. So
Okay.
you get little cliques, right? You get little groups of people that that hang out here and hang out there and do that. And honestly, that's okay too. You can't force people to like you can't force people to like Home Racing World, or you can't force people to like Electric Dreams. You can't. There's people are drawn to certain aspects. Electric Dreams and Home Racing World are literally on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as the slot car world goes. So, you know, you gravitate towards what you're interested in, and I think that is where I said this before. Every single one of us in this little community, whether it's you, Raul, or Shane, you know, George, Danny, me, Marty, we all have our own little niche in this hobby. You know, we every single one of us, and we sort of, it overlaps a little bit. We all like certain things that are involved with the other parts as well, but it's the rare thing to find somebody who is a scratch builder, buys 100 new cars a month, is building a gigantic track, and also a wood track as well as plastic. You know, it's a rare person that's doing all of those things at once.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we all come in with our channels is, you know, if you want to see a badass, you know, layout that's done awesomely, you go check out Shane, or you go check out Marty. They've got these beautiful gigantic tracks, or what you're building, Raul. If you want to learn how to build a brass chassis, you go watch George, and he'll show you how to do it. If you want to learn how to, you know, build slot cars that don't exist, you come and watch me. You know, Danny's all doing his 3D printing. Everybody has their little niche, and I think that's what we need to do. We each, I think, need to expand our little niche, and I think that will help. But
Yeah.
again, I don't know. You know, I live in California, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I don't say that. So
Seems
here,
to
I'm
be in
in
North
Brisbane.
Carolina.
That's worse.
yeah. So let's go
Well
here.
said.
I got Sunday first. Sunday slot car says, in truth, the future of slot cars are clubs in people's basements. In-store tracks don't do as well because people will just travel amongst themselves to play for free in their homes. Um, you could say that, but you know the same thing could be said was said long time ago, and I remember in 2005 when wargaming was not so popular as it is today. Same thing was said then, that people don't people just play in their homes, they don't come. But the main thing that made a difference, and this is where the global racing league and stuff comes in, was standardization. What happened was the wargaming world said, okay, we're going to standardize this gaming world internationally. We're going to play on the same size tables, same sort of terrain. We're going to build this international competition, and we're going to get every country involved. We're going to have world cups. We're going to do all this. And in 2005 they launched that. Games Workshop decided to end support for all competitions, and they pulled out, and the retailers, the locals, the smaller guys got together, banded together, and formed up this international entity that became what is today one of the biggest and actually very profitable ventures in wargaming. So it happened in 2005. We had the same idea. Everyone said the same thing. People will game in their basements. They won't pay to play. But guess what? If you actually come together and standardize everything, which is where my idea for the Global Racing League comes from, it will makes it easier for everyone to participate. Everybody wants to rub shoulders with everyone else, and that's what Slot Ventures is about. It's about people that have different points of view coming in and rubbing shoulders with each other and trying to kind of get better at what they do, as well as learn a new skill or new talent. And that's what I think is what hobbying is all about. It's not one dimensional. The moment we just take it into one dimension is when we start to get very competitive. We'll lose focus on the huge thing, which is the hobby. That's just my take on it, right?
I think club racing, I've never done it. So, and I don't know if anybody else here has done it either. But the club racing thing, honestly, out of the five of us on screen right now, how many of you have had somebody at your home, other than your wife, children, or grandchildren, or nieces or nephews, to come and run on your slot car tracks? How many of you have done that?
Well, I
Yeah,
did.
I've,
I
Maybe
ran a small
Raul, but
league. Yeah.
I never have. You know, I've had the neighbors over or whatever to race on stuff. But as far as like getting together a bunch of guys, you know, that are of like mind to come over, you know, once a week and drink beer and race slot cars, I don't think that happens to nearly, I bet, less than maybe a quarter of the community is doing that. The rest of them are like us. We build our tracks, we do our thing, and we show it off however we can, whether it be YouTube or whatever, and we just enjoy it ourselves. And I really think that's where most people are at. It's,
Yeah.
it's almost a solo activity, and it's hard to turn it into a community activity. I think it is. And everybody says, "Oh, just get somebody to go over and pull the trigger," and they're hooked. But that's not necessarily always true. Some people get frustrated instantaneously. They pull the trigger, and what do? They launch your $100 slot car off into the wall, and they don't want to play no more. Oh, these are hard. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. And so but I don't know. Like I say, I'm just rambling things that are popping into my brain. So you guys can stop me
That's
if you
what
think.
this is. That's what this
Perfect.
whole live stream is about. It's not about really just getting points of view, different points of view, and that's why we do this, right?
Brainstorming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So, so here's Gary saying, Gary Dunmore says, Raul, a lot of people are not hobby oriented. I've been trying to get some of my friends involved. I even showed them some of my cars, and this is going to happen. There's not like Dave said, you can't force everyone to like what you like, right? Uh, you know, it's the same thing as a parent with their child. You can never force your child to like what you like. You can only
Nope.
present it to them and then hope that maybe it stays and wears off. But I'll give you a great example. So my daughter, when we initially started with the slot car track, she was very, very involved. She picked her cars. And she still likes her cars, by the way. And then the truth and point is, this weekend we had Thanksgiving. I had one of her friends come over with her whole family, and there were three of them. So four youngsters came to the basement. So I always, I never, they came to the basement and they were like, "Can we race?" And I'm like, "Sure." Turn it on, put all the cars on, and everybody started to race and they had a great time. They were starting to have a lot of fun. Yes, they crashed and yes, the cars flew off, but I don't care. Like I said, I always run my thing at full pop, and I keep on saying, control the throttle, and we I don't mind. Just go nuts, have fun. The funny thing was, right after they were done, my daughter said to me, "I forgot how much fun this was."
Yeah.
Right? And she said, "I really want to race again. Dad, next time you shoot a video, let me do all the driving." So I mean, that's what it is. It just takes repetitive. Like, you can't lose hope. You can't just say, "Oh, I had a bad experience the first time, I'm not going to do it again." You have to be persistent. I mean, when I built my club, Conquest, which is become it was pretty big club at one point. It was about persistence. I used to go to every event that I could. I used to present myself as Conquest. I used to dress up in the gear. I used to wear my brand proudly. And people started to take notice because you were everywhere. It's just like impressions count, right? I mean, advertising, you talk about advertising, Shane, it's the amount of impressions. The more you put yourself out there, the more people are going to remember you. And then they get curious, and then they build a curiosity, right? That slot car racer shirt, the more of us that wear it, the more people are going to ask. The more of us that use the hashtag slot cars are back, the more prominence it gets in YouTube. I mean, I was just checking the trend lines today. But we need to come together as a community and do it collectively. And
Yeah.
when we do it collectively, then you'll see the change, right? Right now, collectively, we're getting more people involved on YouTube, which is great. That was the first thing that we asked for at the beginning of the year. It's become a problem because we have so much content, but which is not a problem to me. It's just great, right? But now we have to talk about what can we do more, right? So maybe creating a set number of hashtags that everyone uses builds prominence, because this is the way that we have to think. We have to think branding, right? And right now we all think individual, but if we start to think as a community branding, then you start to change mentality, right? But these are just my thoughts as well. So let's see.
Very good.
Bryce says Billy and Amanda connect with the local community where they set up a local market. Brick and mortar hobby stores should do the demo days, gauge interest, but it's all return on investment. Yep. But we're putting a lot of pressure on the retailers. Now, retailers that run small business are also strapped for time and cash. A lot of them are mom and pops. So if we're so inclined to build a hobby, why are we putting it on the retailers? Why can't we go out to an event and put up a track and do demo days? There's nothing that stops us, right? And I've already been in discussion with the next Comic Con in Toronto, I'm putting up my commercial track. I'm pulling it from the commercial venue and moving it to Comic Con for the weekend to run these crazy events, right? But that's what we have to do. It's you can't rely on the retailer alone. They're already stressed, and the hobby retailer, you gotta remember, with the world market and economy, it's becoming harder and harder for them to stay alive. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of team effort here, I think. Let's see.
I think a lot of the interest is due to the age group too.
Yeah,
The age group is one driving factor because my grandkids know what this is, but if you have somebody that doesn't tell them what it is, you're basically speaking another language. What's a slot car? Because they
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
agree.
because nobody has influenced them to tell them, "Hey, these are slot cars. Have you ever seen them before?" I try and do that with my grandkids. Things that I grew up with, I'll show them, "Hey, this is what we used to do before." It was called an encyclopedia. We didn't have Google. You had to look the stuff up with a book. You didn't
Yeah.
go on your phone. So I mean, it's just everything is so different, and if they're not influenced in any way by the elder people that know from back in the day, then they'll understand it because they've been told.
yeah. So Delion says I have several people who race, but I'm isolated about 2 hours from most people. Saka Daddy, Joe, and myself are doing going to get be getting together soon. Um, yeah, I mean, let's talk about that too. There's some communities that just flourish. I mean, I was on Pete's live stream, and we're like, how many slot cars are in your neighborhood? And when he pulled up the map in the UK, it was like multiple points. So it was like
I'm
he couldn't go like 2 minutes without finding a slot car shop, you know. But when you pull up in Toronto and you get one, and maybe one in about 2 hours away, it's geography. Like Dave was saying, for him, he can't find any. But Marty's lucky since he slots around the corner. They have a lot of clubhouse. Like, it all depends on communities, right? George, I don't know how many slot car racetracks are around your area,
There's
right?
a few, but they're all commercial tracks that I wouldn't want to go to.
Yeah.
There's one not
So
far from here, and but there's not many really, to be honest.
Yeah, seeing
yeah,
the commercial track stuff, you have to be of that mindset.
Yeah.
Again, it's like I just said, we all have our little niches, and that commercial stuff is a completely different world than what we're doing. Completely, the cars aren't the same. The nothing is the same. It is 100% different than what we're doing. And um, if you're a scale guy, you like the way you like cars that look like real cars. Well, you're not getting that at a commercial track for the most part.
Left-hand
It's
body.
a bunch of goober bodies, globbies, whatever they blobbies. That's what they call them. But and don't get me wrong, they do race, some hard body racing, and they do some stuff like that at those places as well, I'm sure. But um, for the
yeah,
most part, though, it's not what we're doing, and it's highly competitive. And unless you're a highly competitive person, which probably most of us are a little bit competitive just because of what we're doing, we're racing cars, right? So, but again, it's like another level of competitiveness. So, unless you're into that, and there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it too. So, um, me personally, I have no desire to do that. It's, you know,
The
I like my
commercial tracks, they have a super high bank, so they need very high propelled motors to sling them across the bank. If
right,
Yeah.
you regular car over there, it'll fall right off. It
right, yeah,
won't do much, so it's a whole different thing, like Dave says. I mean, it's to the point where they get so fast, like the wing cars. I don't know if you guys have seen wing cars where they just and it's like that doesn't really look like fun, man, because it's just it's
Can't even
just
see
things
them.
going in a circle super fast. It's like
yeah. But
I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing. Like
That just
I've
not
I've
me.
found this happens with the hobbies, like the progression to get faster and more tuned cars. Like what me and Shane were talking about yesterday is that the new generation. I don't know if it's actually going to really latch on to that process of getting faster and faster cars. More
The
about the
fun.
fun aspect of it, or having like multiple racing. I think digital needs to take more prominence and become a little bit more dominant in the world in the new age in order to really get this hobby to progress, because I don't see the youngsters latching on to commercial racing and saying that's fun. right? They're going to latch on to digital racing and have a lot of fun because A, the cars look like cars, and B, they get to race against each other and bang up cars against each other, and that's what they like.
And
You
there's a
know,
screen involved.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Um, so like
They
one,
probably want
one
them to race themselves.
yeah, right. Like over here, it says Slugger Daddy says, we need to get our families involved. If we don't, we might lose a generation. We're pretty much last generation resurging. Who's going to stand for slot cars when we're gone? Make it fun. I agree totally. Like the commercial tracks have their set base, and that's the true like maybe hardcore hobbyist in slot cars. But I think the new generation is not that hardcore yet, and we need to really like a lot has been done on the extreme ends. Like you got the manufacturers that have for beginners, Carrera Goes and
Yep.
the 164s, and then they release their RTRs in 132nd, and then you got the extreme end, which is the commercial tracks, which are built for these guys that tune high end motors and race things, and then in the middle, it's kind of left to us to kind of make either basement leagues or there's some tracks that exist commercially that run. Electric Dreams is a good example of that, but a lot of it is left to the middle hobbyists to go figure it out for themselves. And I think that's where we're kind of losing focus as a community, I feel. But once again, I'm very new to this. So, I'm just giving 2 cents here. None of this is law, right? And I hope I don't get chewed up in the comments later. 'Cause-
No, you're right though, but you have to look at other things too. You got to look at like social media, not just YouTube, other social media outlets. You know, Home Racing World's Facebook page just hit what 16,000 members,
Yep.
and
Yep.
and growing every day. People are trying to get in every day, and it's there's a big presence out there, and there's places to gather and show your stuff and do your thing, and it's not just us here on YouTube. I try to. Well, George does a really good job of it. Every time one of us posts a video, he puts a link on his Facebook page, and that's a good way to start doing it too. Is put those up so other people can see them. Start sharing each other's links on our social media, just to
yeah.
spread things around a little bit. You don't,
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think like it. Let's see here, Stuart Barham. The very first club I joined was with my dad, and it's the day in the its heyday in the mid '80s. There were around 70 people every Friday night running 3 tracks. Now a race at 2 clubs is still so much fun for me. Yeah, I mean we all remember the nostalgia of our youth, and that's what's brought us back. And that's the
That's
same thing that we need to install into our next generation, which is
that's the key word right there, nostalgia. Not to
yeah,
interrupt you. So here's the thing. So I would hope I have 9 shots that when I'm gone, that these kids are gonna remember this. Because there's
yeah,
one story with my 2 older kids is that I took them on a trip around the United States. We went to different parks and stuff, and stuff like that. And of course, teenagers, they seem like they're bored, but to this day, they tell me, "Dad, I remember that trick we took. I had a really good time." I go, "You could have fooled me because you never showed it." He says, "No, I did, and I remember that, and it's something I want to do again." And that's the weird part about it. So I hope when my grandkids see this, they're gonna go, "I remember when Grandpa played with this stuff, and hopefully they'll retain it, or one of the 9 of them will like this and follow through." So I mean, that's what you're hoping the nostalgia will bring the new, the generations that we're talking about that have been influenced by it to do it. And that's the key word, nostalgia, because we all came back because of the nostalgia of it. We remember
Yep.
the smell of the AFX controllers in the cars. I mean, that's what brings us back to that, is memories.
yeah. No, I think so. I remember I was at SEMA. I think it was early in 2008, and I remember there was. It's really funny. So I was at the panel in SEMA, and it was about how eBay was going to start selling car parts at that time. eBay wasn't doing it like properly. Hadn't got into the game, and there was having this panel discussion, and you had the president of K&N Filters, you had the president of NASCAR, you had all these big shots sitting at the front of the table, and there's a guy that was walking around in a shirt and shorts, and he was wrapping cable and he was moving things around, and I thought for 100% that guy was just one of the guys setting up the stage. And then when they all sat down, he sat down plump in the middle. And you know who that man was? It was Miles Kovac, the founder of Dub Magazine. And I remember when he took the stage to speak, everyone went dead silent, right? The president of NASCAR had spoken, everybody. And Miles, it was amazing because he said when he started Dub Magazine, he knew the only way to get Dub Magazine to stay for a lifetime was to get the kids involved. Because he's like, the only way I was gonna make this magazine survive wasn't catering to the guys who already mod their cars. It was to get that kid to understand that you put 20-inch wheels on a car, it looks cool. So he's like, the first thing I did was got the biggest toy manufacturer in China to start producing cars with big ass wheels, right? He's like, and from the moment that kid picked up that car in the toy store, right, he was hooked, and my magazine hooked him. And from that moment on, every time he saw Dub, he'd relate it to that toy that he picked up, and that's how Dub magazine came to be. I'll never forget that, right? He had a visionary. He was a visionary, and he still is, and he started it that way because the heart of it all is that we need to ingrain from the very young, and the way we do that is by making them excited about the product that they're holding. And that's what we need to keep on doing is just keep on introducing our youngsters to it and make it simple for them. Yes, the price to entry of a slot car is not cheap. It's just buying a slot car like right now, Assassin's Creed Mirage has just come out. I only buy Assassin's Creed videos games, right? It's $79.99. It's $80. A slot car is $100. It's not that cheap. It's not easy to get in, but you have to bring value to that kid to understand that slot car has value to him, and it will give him entertainment value. And the only way you can do that is by introducing and running more programs for the youth. Because if we do that, then like Sean Casey does that for youth in his community, and I think that's what we need to do in general as a community is really introduce our youth back to that fun that we had. And you're not going to do that with wing cars, and you're not going to do that with excessive tuning, and you're not going to do that unless we make it accessible to them. That's
You need
the way I
Fast and
see it.
Furious cars. That's what
Exactly, movie cars.
because they like those Fast and Furious movies, which I'm not don't care for them, but that is a big draw right there. Imagine if they made Fast and Furious cars. I'm sure they had a couple of them.
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta
what
like
I.
you gotta like automobiles too. So I grew up with automobiles all my life. So big cars too, not just fuck. I got one in the garage. You guys know. So that car right there really is one thing that kept me with automobiles. So if you're not an automobile enthusiast, you're not going to really get into stock cars. That's the bottom line of that too. To be honest, if you're not into cars, you're not going to notice that. Period.
Yeah, hobbies in general are dependent on the economy. People tend to engage in hobbies and spend disposable cash when times are good. When the economy is bad, hobbies are the first to go. Of course, it's a luxury. That can be said about anything. That's a luxury item. It's not just hobbies, collections. People collect watches. People collect shoes. Like that all stops when the economy hits hard times. But it doesn't end it. It always exists. It's always there in the background. Um, so yeah, there's always going to be ebbs and flows to everything. I feel, and right now I think the reason why this is the topic of discussion because we're trending high. Like there is this rise and this phenomenon of stock cars, and it's good for all of us that I enjoy it. But I think what we're discussing here is how we get more people involved because that's what we've been talking about since January when we started here. I think that's where we're going with this.
This year or last year?
This year, we started in January this year. Last year, I did my first slot car video ever last year in January. I've only been doing this for a year, almost two
Seems like
years
we've
now.
known each other a lot longer
I
than doesn't
know.
it? A year. The same with all the other guys, Marnie and them was like I feel like I've known you guys for a long time. Man. Doesn't
Yeah, I
feel like
know.
a
It's
year.
like it blows my mind that we only started live streaming in January of this year because Marty started his live stream 1 week before I started mine. Um, so it was like Marty started and I started mine a week later, and we had differences because Marty was his. I wanted more about stories. I wanted to hear everyone's story, so I wanted to invite more people. So we had two different type of live streams that were going on, and that's how we launched. And it's impressive that today, like, there's a huge community that knows us. But we just started in January. We just started to get to know people in January. I think March is when I actually first remembered the fingers. I think I remembered the fingers because I went on MP's auction, and I was outbidding him on every car. We had a back and forth, and that's how
That's
the
fine.
fingers and I got to know each other more. But I mean, that's the whole point. We've only known each other for less than a year, but it's the bonds and friendships that we have are what we want our next generation to feel, right? I think that's what I'm waiting. That's what I'm doing this for. I want my daughter to understand that the community is not, the world's not all bad. That's the problem right now. Everyone's got this like the world's all bad, everything bad. But I wanted to see that
Dying
there's good
media.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
dying media. They just can't help themselves.
yeah. But we have the
That's why I
ability.
got out of TV. I couldn't stand all that nonsense. It was
Yeah,
bad. It
that's
was just
right.
kicking off back in the 80s, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. Just go
Yeah,
outside. Everything's fine.
yeah. I mean, but that's why YouTube is so important because we have that voice. We can make
That
that
counter
difference, right?
argument.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we need some of our videos now. Shane is like the king of this because his videos all highlight the cars for the most part. You know, he's got his comedy and his entertainment that he pops in, but your videos are more about the cars and what's going on. And
Yeah.
I noticed this. I actually didn't notice it. My wife did. You know, I had my YouTube channel years ago when I had my big track set up and everything. And my wife pointed out to me the other day one of my videos from I think it was either 7 or 9 years ago. It's got 10,000 goddamn views on it. I was like, what?
Yep.
You had to go look at it. She's right. It's over
I think I know
10,000
the
views.
one. Yep.
I was like, no way. And all it is one of my hot rods running around the track with some funky music playing in the background, and it's gotten all these views. But that's what people want to see. They want to see entertainment. They don't want to see my fat, sweaty ass on here talking. They want to see what's going on with the cars. You know, so it's that's what we need to do more of, I think.
So Jimmy Z,
Like what you did, Raul, what you just did. Highlight the
we'll
car.
talk about that later.
You're damn
So
right you do.
Jimmy Z wants to know from Shane and Danny because he feels that Danny and Shane are being quiet. So I'm going to shut up for a second and let you guys take over and tell us your thoughts because Jimmy requested. So let's hear.
Danny,
Yeah.
over to you.
Yeah,
What?
you.
Why do we gotta go to me first?
A noisy key
Oh,
type of dude. You
because
want him to go?
All right, I'm over here clipping supports off these cars.
Pay attention.
But yeah, I'm paying attention, kind of, sort of. I'm listening.
All right. So they want to know, Danny, what you feel about how we can make a difference and how we can put out feelers to get more people involved.
You know, I kind of think about that all the time. I've had a lot of conversations with Marty about that. And that's, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a hard one. And I know we all have our YouTube channels and we try to do what we can, you know, basically from our own homes and things like that. But when it comes down to this, like we've been saying, the younger generation is where it's at, just like it was when, you know, our dads had slot cars and whatnot. I mean, it was up to, you know, me, that next generation, to continue that on. So here I am, I'm trying it, but, you know, I've got a kid that's probably upstairs right now playing video games, playing Madden, you know, something like that, instead of, you know, I can't get him to do anything with his hands as far as, you know, other than moving joysticks, you know. I got him outside yesterday. I made him go outside yesterday and help me sand the dresser down, you know, and get some sun, you know. And
Get out of the house, damn it.
yeah, you know, I was like, look, we'll turn the NFL game on the TV in the garage. You can watch it out there, and we'll stay in this dresser. I was like, we'll get in the sun. Let's get outside. Let's do something. Let me teach you something. You know, he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to lay upstairs. So it's difficult, I think, with the generation is now. And my dad said, "Hey, let's go. We're gonna go slot car racing from now. You know, on Thursday nights." I'm like, "Well, what is that?" Well, we go, and next thing you know, we're going every Thursday night. Me and him, we go. We went and got dinner before the race started. There was an Italian place, Tony's. We always, I think, we got like meatball subs pretty much all the time. You know, and that's something that I remember, and that was, you know, that was high school, and so, but
Also, yeah.
I mean, around here, I don't have that. In order for us to, you know, I can drive an hour and a half to Jim Cunningham's house, and I got invited the other day to an HO race, but again, it was over an hour and a half. I don't mind driving, but at this time right now, I've got a track in my garage, and two, I'm with work and school. I really don't have time. So, um, I don't know. I guess for me, it's hard because other than myself in this general area, there is nobody else that I know of that does any of this. So, trying to get kids involved and everything else, I don't know.
Damn, I'm
Oh.
depressed. No.
Shane, I'll let you take over and talk a bit about what you think we could do.
Well, there's some great suggestions here in the chat. Like someone, I'm sorry, I've missed who it was, said if we want to make a bigger presence, we need to have a documentary on the Discovery Channel. That's a good suggestion.
That
No,
would
slot
be
cars,
Sunday
slot
slot cars.
Yeah, he said
No, it
that.
was another one. The one from Sunday Slot Cars was we need to get a
Netflix.
Netflix
Netflix,
film.
yeah.
So, Raul, we need to make a slot car movie.
You know what?
We need to make a slot car movie.
No word of a lie. If I pull up my mind map for this year, one of the biggest things that I had on the side was a slot car movie. You know, like one of those like epic ones where you get like the slow motion raising a controller, everyone coming to the track. Like get one of those things going. We should do it together.
We should do something like that and then see if we can call in anyone, any old contacts maybe, if they're still in the industry, and see if we can tee up. Yeah, imagine that. That would
cool.
that would go through the roof. Assuming we do it, right? Okay. And can Betty be in it?
Yeah.
Of course.
She
better be.
she might have retired by then or taken off. It's
Exactly.
You know,
probably
I
can't
guess
rely on her.
with that idea there, I mean, we could all do like little interviews, you know, George and Dave and Harry, and have like a little segment of everybody on there, you know, talking about
Excellent idea.
their experience
more
with
of a-
slot cars and things like that.
Yeah. So
That'd
like
be
you could
good
have the
overall.
movie bit, but then you'll have intercut like a docu movie or
I
something.
vote
Yeah.
Raul and Shane to put it together.
Yep, I vote for that too.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
experienced out of all of us.
Well, we can talk about it. I think that's something that we can do individually, but we need the whole hobby community be involved because we have to interview people not only that we know, but people that we probably don't have connections to. Like I would reach out to people in Germany, people in Europe. There's so much. This hobby community is deep, right? And then all aspects of the hobby have to be talked about. Like Shane, you're right behind you. It's not only the track; it's all the terrain, it's all the little skits, it's all the little scenery, all the lighting. All of that is different aspects of the hobby that has to be talked about, because that's how we resonate. Because then more people will see opportunity that they can get involved, right? And I'll give you an example. When I first started, all I used to do was review cars because that's all I knew. I just knew cars. I didn't know anything about tuning stock cars or anything. And then all of a sudden, people were like, "Oh, you can make terrain." Boone was releasing these terrain videos. Like, wait a second, I made terrain so long in my life. I used to run events and stuff. I love terrain making. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, painting? People paint these things, And then I was on the live with Shotgun Dave. I remember my first interview with Shotgun Dave, and he was pulled up his the American flag and the little polka dot cars, and we talked about airbrushing, Dave. And I was like, I pulled out my airbrush because I put it all away. Right, and that's the whole point. Is there's so many aspects of this hobby. You can find your home in it, and I think that hasn't been captured in any documentary ever. They always talk about racing. They always talk about tuning, and they'll always talk about that whole competitive aspect of it. But there's that whole other side of this hobby, which is about the hobby itself, like the building, the spending of time with your friends or with your family to make. Like Danny, when you built your table, you didn't do it on your own, did you? Like your son was involved in track building in the beginning. I remember, right? And that's a bonding experience that you'll never forget. Shane, you just talked about your daughter being involved in the track, right? Those are all memories that you'll never be able to. They'll always remember it, right? And I think that hasn't been documented, right?
Yeah.
So
there's definitely a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, anyway, let's see. Slot Cup movie in Canada. There you go. So Sunny Southcott says, if you guys are making a Slot Cup movie in Canada, let me know. I know an actress that has been in a few things people might have seen, not name dropping in public though. Okay, no worries.
Wow.
Cool.
What sort of slot car movie was that?
Yeah, well, let's see. The GRL, the movie. Okay, Dan. Dan's currently leading the GRL, so of course he wants to have a GRL movie coming out. That's cool. Boone's in the house. Hey, Boone, how are you? Out picking up horse hay today.
What's he saying?
He was out picking hay for the horse. That's cool. All right, well...
He's got a horse.
I think so.
Wow.
All right, so Slotcom Misfits, this is Tom Work. He launched his Facebook community not very long ago. He has over 400 members right now. But he's doing something that I think is also very integral here. He's planning to run an event in October 2024 in Georgia at Viper Pit Slot Raceway. Swap meet open house for racing. Hope all YouTubers and raceway owners and slot heads show up. Way to take initiative. And yeah, like I said to Tom, if I can do anything to support, I will. Right? But yeah, it doesn't happen with one chat here, but I think we started the discussion and we can keep on talking about it.
Trying to throw out movie names out there.
We've got movie titles.
The Fast and the Horrendous.
Shane, are you taking notes?
Yeah. Keep it in the slot.
That's a good one right there.
Yeah, I think Boone himself could probably make a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, it would be a trilogy, not just one movie. You'd have to break it up.
Like the Lord of the Rings.
Episode 1, let's talk track building. And then it'll take you through his track building.
Yeah,
and then we'll talk
Tarantino of slot car videos.
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool. Anyway. Well, I don't think we're going to answer everything here today, but at least we got the discussion going. It's fun.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
We're thinking.
Really. Yeah, we're thinking about it. I think we should do more collaborations with each other's channels. That's something I've always said. I think working together is a lot of fun. Like, I did one with Track Fans TV, and we continue to do a lot of stuff together. And I think it's more about, and you guys have always jumped on mine, but I think we do more with each other. It will start to get people more integrated. And the more we start to integrate, the more we'll push the hobby forward. So I think that's where we can start. Just get on each other's channels, have time spent with each other. It's a great time.
Lord of the Slots.
Lord of the Slots. There you go. There you go. Lord of the Slots. That's the new movie title.
Lord of the Slots.
Yeah.
Slot car girls.
Fast and the Naughty.
All right. So let's go
Slot
back.
Car Girls Gone Wild. That's a contender.
That's Betty can star in that one.
Yeah.
Boy.
All right, so we did Where is Betty, and just on cue, I pulled up Where is Betty here, so that's good.
Betty and the
Um,
Revo spots. So good.
I'm gonna skip through this one. I was gonna talk about like last week. I talked about memberships, but I'm just gonna run through this one just to let everyone know my memberships I've launched. But Global Racing League has run its first heats. Dan Wiley is currently in the lead. I have to bring up Global Racing League on my channel on my live streams because uh, I, I need to promote it somehow, and this is my only way of doing it. But Global Racing League has launched. The website is completely updated. It's got all the stats on it, all the cars running, all the races. So if you guys are interested, go support. I know many of you jumped on the live streams because the way this is happening is everyone's racing from their basement, from their home with standardized track, and they're keeping track of time through live streaming. And we're racing live time attack with stock cars on standardized tracks, and it's awesome. And I think everyone that's involved so far has had a lot of fun. So let's keep it going. And I just wanted to touch base and talk about that.
Way to go, Dad.
Yeah, yeah, he blistered
Yeah,
a lap.
I've been
Did you
watching you
see
guys
it?
race. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he did a 28-second flat 10 laps. Like that was pretty quick. But anyway, so yeah, Dan's in the lead. But let's get into our fun part. And we'll talk about Creator Roundup. And Shane, you can spend this time to think about a channel that you want to promote at the end. We'll just go through our selections and then we'll come back to you. Any video that has
Okay.
made impact to you over the last week. But here we go. So the first one I do is terrain video of the week, and I was looking at these guys, AG Scenic Models. They do these really cool slot car tracks. So this one is an abandoned airbase, and it has a slot car track that runs right through this. And the detail on some of this scenery here, and it's custom made scenery. So just a 1-lane track, but it's absolutely phenomenal. So if you guys haven't watched this video, take a look at it. It's brilliant. Like abandoned airbase, 132nd routed slot car layout was my pick for terrain video of the week. If you guys have watched it, let me know in the chat. But if you haven't, please go and have a look and subscribe because they do some really great work. So that's my video of the week there. And then the second video, and you guys know this man, he's Ian Morrison. He's the winner of the Electric Dreams, but he's launched his channel and he's doing a series on how he preps the MR slot car McLaren for racing. And it's such a good video as well. He's laid back and it's very, very like chill but informative. And I recommend everyone to go and follow Ian Douglas because he is the last winner of from Electric Dreams. So really good video to watch. So if you're into racing and you want to prep cars, and you can take it from one of the current, I guess, leaders in racing, would say. So yeah, check it out, guys. That is my other selection this week. And I will go now into... Here we go, George. Your turn.
Oh, yeah, I picked this one because he's trying, and he actually hacked something together, which is fine. That's why I made this scratch build choice. I'm not making fun of it. I mean, this is just, he said this is his first time doing it, and you know what? At least he's trying something. So that's why I picked this one. And again, it's a cut chassis. It's actually an angle winder, believe it or not. That's the end bell of the motor. There's a fender that goes over that, I believe. And he said that on Dave's page, "Hey, this is my first one, and you know what? Hats off to you. At least you're trying." And that's, to me, that's why I picked this one.
Nice. Yeah,
Giving it a
Tristan Cogger, I believe. Yeah, great job. I mean, at least he's put solder to brass, right? I mean, that's more than most of us. So, way to go, bud. Great job. Yeah. And then we'll move on. And Danny, you can talk about this one, Danny. Oh, Danny, are you around? He's back.
I'm here.
Oh.
I'm here.
He's
Yeah.
distracted again.
Talk about
Do
your
it.
pick,
Dogs are
Danny.
barking.
Do a virtual hand slap over there.
Yeah, so I chose. I think I've done him before. He made the 3D printed drag strip, but he also has a routed track that he did, and so but all of his buildings and stuff are 3D printed. So that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about. Really, is that if you don't want to build from scratch, buildings or whatever. I mean, you could always 3D print or have somebody 3D print them for you. So I just like what he does. He's kind of doing the, I guess, the Gaslands or Badlands style. I guess it almost kind of looks like maybe Mad Max, but I kind of like what he did with all of his 3D printing and whatnot.
Yeah, it's cool.
I 3D printed this.
Let me
Well, good
wait,
job,
wait,
George.
George,
For my
wait.
grandkids, okay? Give me a break. No.
Okay, show it up. No, you gotta show it now, George. We couldn't see it. It
Oh,
was like this
This
small.
little dragon.
That's cool.
And
Look
that
at
looks
that.
really good, though. It looks
They
really
were
smooth.
fighting over it, so I had to make a couple of them so they wouldn't fight over it. So, but yeah, that's
It looks
the little
really
thing
smooth.
you can- my Antina printer, small little thing.
That's all
Looks
good.
good.
All right, so that's Danny's pick of the week, modeling video of the week, and we're gonna skip Dave's, and we're gonna move. Oh shit! Here we go. I don't want to go for it, Dave.
Oh, that's why you want to skip it. You
Yep.
never mind.
I'm
Yeah.
returning the favor for you, Raul.
My
That was
favorite.
a good video. I like the Orson Welles overview. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. I don't know who got to say that.
This video, it's like it's totally different than anything any of us or anyone
Uh-oh. See, even YouTube
has
doesn't
done
want
yet.
Dave to talk about it. It froze. Dave, it
Ah.
froze. You have to repeat what you said.
Look at you now. Did you go and freeze this up on me? There you
Yeah, it unfroze. Now go ahead, Dave. See if
Oh,
it'll.
no.
Oh, your internet's trying to.
Raul, you did it. You knocked it out of the park. I told you that privately as well.
Well,
Am I frozen?
No, you're back. You're back. Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm gonna say something. This is a work.
And it's really
This video is actually a collaboration because I started with Pete. I was floundering and I was like, I don't know what to do anymore on YouTube. And Pete said, "Dude, you have such a big collection. Why don't you just have fun and showcase your collection?" I was like, "Yeah, but everyone's just showing off new cars." And then Pete was like, "Well, give them character." I was like,
So who did the voice?
he's like, go talk to Shane from Hugh Stockard Garage and find out what he's gonna think. And I was like, okay, no problem. And I was like, I'm not gonna go to
Okay.
I'm not gonna go to Shane without having a concept. So I thought about it and I was like, well, I come from Africa and I always watched Animal Planet and I was always like, these guys don't know what the hell
what
they're
it was
talking
like.
about. These stupid people don't know what they're talking about Africa. They think we live anyway. So I went and I was like, you know what? I should do a Animal Planet type of video. And that's how I did it. And then I sent
Hold on a
Shane.
second. Shane, did you do the voice?
No,
No,
it's AI generated.
it's AI.
But it was pretty good because it sounded like I don't know, a well-known. I don't know what's the guy who does the Animal
Well,
Planet stuff.
David Attenborough.
Yeah,
So what I
Attenborough.
did.
Remind me of that.
So what
Yeah.
I did was I wrote the script. I sent it through Jasper, which is an AI chat, to refine the script, which it did. And then I sent Shane the script, and we had a nice discussion about how we should shoot it. First, we talked about shooting it outside, and then we found a German guy that already shot the car outside, and we're like, no, we won't do that. And then we came back and we're like, we'll do it indoors. And then because I built that minefield, Shane was like, you know what, you should just do smoke, model it. So I was like, okay, order the smoke machine, get it all in. And there we go. We started putting it together. But this is about a collaborative effort. It's not about just me coming to this video. Yes, I did all the work, but this is what I mean about collaboration. We have a wealth of knowledge all around us, and if we cannot reach out and we cannot ask each other to help each other do this, and I mean, many people have come to me and asked for camera and all that, but that's what it's all about. I like to work with people on building things, and this video is a collaborative effort. It wasn't just myself, and yes, I used AI technology to do the voiceover. Pete wanted to do the voiceover from Track Fans, and he took a stab at it. And I was like, "No, Pete, no, no, no."
Literally a stab at it, right?
Exactly.
You replaced him with AI.
Yeah, I had to. Well, talk about AI. First person I wanted was Morgan Freeman, and I
Oh.
went and I found a digital voiceover for Morgan Freeman. And when I played it back, it was so digital. I was like, no, 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 this is not gonna fly. And then I found this obscure site that did AI voiceovers that had an old Englishman, and that's the voice I got. It was really
Yeah.
funny.
Next one,
But-
do Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd like to see that. Put the slot card down.
Yeah, and Ragtop is like, I was surprised to find out through that video that Slot R is actually AI. Anyway, so, well, Dave chose this video.
Well,
It
I
was
like
good.
it. I
I sort of knew about it in advance because Raul was sharing things with me. Remember, you sent me the file with the AI voice and asked
Yeah.
me my opinion on how I thought it sounded and whatnot. And yeah, I was like, wow, this is going to be a really a big video. So, and I knew that you said that you were collaborating with Shane as well. And
Yeah.
so I was really looking forward to it. And then when it came out, I was just like, wow, you guys just
And
killed it. So.
it's good amount of time. It's not long. It's the perfect amount of time.
Yeah, it's what,
And
8 minutes long?
No,
Yeah,
5
5
minutes.
five.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah,
probably get
so-
a lot of hits. You know, sometimes the simplest
Right.
things, like Dave said, his one little car with the music. And that reminds me, Dave, the one with the slot burger, they got like over 2,000 views.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? The things that people
Hamburgers get more views than slot cars. So
Right. So, but yeah. But
Oh,
anyways,
it's the one with the
Things are what
welder.
people want.
the one with the welder.
Dave's video, he's got a
Yeah.
welder under a car or something. It's just an oval track. I love that video. I've watched that
Yeah,
a
you
few
know,
times.
That Quonset hut on my tractor I built, that was all made from scratch. It was just some scrap wood that I had laying around and some cardboard and some other things, and I made that. And then I thought, it's dark in there. I need something. So that welder guy came from it's model railroad stuff. I went to a model railroad site. I think it was HO or whatever, and they had that. And I go, that would be really cool. And that's what I did. You're right, Shane. I had a car up in the air on jack stands with a dude laying underneath there, and it looked like he's welding on the bottom of the car.
They have
was awesome.
from Evans Designs. They use LED lights. They have fire. They have welding. They have different
Yeah,
things.
there's fire, there's welding,
Wow.
there's even different types of welding. There's the arc welding, which I have, and there's another one that looks like torch welding. Yeah, that's some cool stuff. So,
So where was that again?
Evans.
You know
I'll
what?
send you the link. Evans
yeah,
Designs.
send me a link, 'cause
Okay.
I think it's the same place that I
Colorado.
got mine from. I'm almost sure it's
Sounds
the same place.
interesting.
Here, I'll post it on the chat, and you can get a link to it.
Shane's gonna pull out his arc welder.
But the LEDs they run from I think it's like, what is it, 6 to 19 volts, and then they have a recidifier.
Shane,
bridge.
can you see this?
So,
Actually,
Yeah.
everyone can see this.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this is?
Nope.
This little thing is an LED light.
Whoa.
That's it. And I used it to light the monoliths because I couldn't run LEDs. I was like, what's the quickest way? And you buy 100 of these for like $20.
Where from?
Amazon. I'll send the links. But I was like, this is so cool for videography because you can light
Yeah.
up so many different areas. Just taking this little bulb and just putting it wherever you want. And it's waterproof too. You can put it in different areas.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's pretty cool.
Come on, sweetie.
That's great.
Yeah. So I wanted to show that to you.
Here,
I
Shane,
was
the
gonna-
link's on the chat right now. That's the name of the
Thanks,
place.
George.
Yeah.
They make LEDs the size of a pinhead. That's
Oh,
how tiny
wow.
it is. So,
Yeah.
but like I was saying, they use the recidifier bridge. So the recidifier bridge, it doesn't matter what polarity you set it at, it'll still work.
Cool.
Slot R is actually Slot R is actually an alien sent to infiltrate the Slocko community. Don't trust him. Oh God. Poor Dave. He's not even here to defend
Hey.
himself.
That's my thing, the aliens, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
The slaughter. No.
Anyway. All right. So Shane, before we get into the final two categories, do you have any video you watched this week that you thought would really make impact?
Well, I've got to agree with Dave that that Porsche video is the video of the
Besides
week,
that one,
hands down.
besides that one.
Well, I've been watching one channel I've been getting into called Full Earth Workshop. You
Okay.
aware of that
Yeah,
one?
I've seen him. Yeah.
A lot of varied stuff, but they got a new slot car steering mechanism that seems interesting. The wheels align, they move with the guide, and they seem to align better. And they're claiming that the cars sit better around tight corners and all that sort of thing. I don't know, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I subscribed to their through their website because I saw the 3D render of the new, what they call the best slot car chassis ever coming out or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what it's about. Oh, you know what? It's good hype. They've done got good hype marketing right there. So
Yeah. And there's a few good videos. There's one called Heavy Metal, I think. So I was like, oh, let's look at that. And very, very nice build. Lots of brass parts. These cars are a larger scale, but very intricate.
yeah,
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on there.
yeah, cool. Well, let's do the last two here, which are always the big ones. So we're gonna go into track of the week here.
I posted those LED balls on the chat.
Perfect. Thanks a
LED
lot,
balls.
Danny.
Okay, thanks, man.
So this is the track of the week. It's the Monaco Street Circuit that Things Electric and Magnetic Racing built. It is phenomenal. If you go to their website, you look up Monaco Street Circuit. This track is like, this is my kind of track. This is what I would want for myself because it's super detailed. It's a city track. It's
Yeah, that's cool.
unbelievable. So
Very, very
this was
beautiful.
my pick for track of the week this week. So check it out, guys. Let me know. And like I said, if you have any other tracks that you think should be track of the week, please send them to me. Last week was Tom Work sent me a track, and yeah, every week we try and showcase a track. So this was the track of the week this week. And then, so I had to be biased this week, but it's good to have him back. And for channel of the week, I chose MP Slot Car because he came back this week. He came back with a video, and yeah, he's coming back to the hobby in a couple. Like he's decided to make more content, which I'm happy to have him back. So, and he wanted to say hi to everyone. So I said, yeah, we'll give him Slot Car of the channel of the week, and he's done a lot for the hobby. I mean, because of him, I got back. I got into it. A lot of us remember MP. And yeah, he's still around and he's producing some good content.
I actually liked his video the other day that he did with those the 125th scale cars that he's been
Yeah,
populating his
124.
list
Yeah,
with. Those are cool videos.
yeah. So yeah, that's the Slot Car channel of the week, MP Slot Car Space. If you haven't subscribed to it, go check it out. Awesome coverage there. And yeah, so let's see. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up or talk about? Shane, you want to talk? Ask any of us any questions?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Is anybody in the chat? Anyone in the chat got anything important they want to ask?
Yeah, now's that time.
Type.
Well, we might as well sit back. We're gonna be here a while now.
Oh no.
No more titles of
What
the
have I done?
documentary, please.
What have I
No more
done?
titles of the documentary.
Let's see.
Anything coming through?
They'll come. They'll come. They're gonna ask a lot of Predator stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
Along came a
Is that
spider,
Porsche?
picked up a rider, and drove him up away to eternity. That car is.
Dang,
Where's Betty?
where's Betty?
Where
Okay,
is she?
Dan-
I'll go
Danny's
look for her.
speedster.
You hit Betty? Looking, where's Betty?
There's the speedster. How smooth is that, Danny?
James Dean.
I want. I mean, it's pretty smooth, but I think this might have been a low poly
Hey,
there's
model.
Betty.
It's Betty.
There's Betty.
She's got competition now. Check that out.
Yeah,
Woo!
let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, Danny, you're up. Show us that mold again. There you go.
I
So
don't know how.
Danny, you've done a lot of printing, but I haven't seen
A lot of
any of these finished yet. Come on,
fiber
dude.
figures and everything.
Yeah,
Like
you're
that
right. I
pickup.
haven't fished any of them yet.
I want the pickup truck, man. I want to see that pickup truck finished.
Yeah, I know. I know. Printing is like
Modified,
a couple clicks and let it go. I don't have to do anything.
modified.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Oh,
cool. That's a cool
roll bars,
modified
but
there.
Nerf bars too.
That'll make a cool car, Danny. You need to get on that one.
Yep,
I
you need
know.
to
I
put
need
it in.
No, Danny, I want the pickup truck finished first. No,
Why?
on
It's
the
just point
line.
and click, he said. He doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
And
he's
that
gonna have
crazy
all these
filter.
bodies. Daddy's gonna. The next time we see Danny, he'll be behind a whole pile of plastic. He'll be like,
They'll
hey
have more
guys.
stock cars than Raul and bodies.
Yeah.
Uh, well, yeah. Next year I'll be starting my Shotgun Dave collection. By the way, I've already decided. It's all inspired by Shotgun Dave. Every body Shotgun Dave has, I'm gonna build a car out of it because.
I guess I better get the casting then. I better get some bodies cast for you,
And then
Raul.
it'll be Danny's collection. Soon I won't have any space for Carrera anymore. Oh no.
Right? We're gonna get you turning into a scratch builder.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, that Mad Max truck you sent through for me. Hey, you gonna knock one of those up for me?
Here you
It looked
go.
really good.
Yeah, I'll put it on my
I'm a bit
list.
excited. I'll just have to find a
Oh.
chassis to fit it though.
You just have to
Yeah,
build a
that'll
chassis.
be
Fiend.
interesting.
The war
Might have to
rig.
scratch
The
build.
war rig. That looked really
Yeah,
I
good.
well-
love the black on black, the Falcon XP. That car is, to me, out of the Mad Max movies, I love that car.
You might have to get some brass and just scratch build a chassis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gene is asking, is that the resin printer, Danny?
Yes, that's all the stuff I've shown is all resin.
It's resin,
Nice.
it's not PLA or anything.
So
like that.
other thing is, if y'all need the modified, I don't know if we'll be able to see that or not. The modified
Yeah,
wheels,
I can. Yep.
I have them now, so I can print as many as I need to.
So Swift Slots has a question. How big should I make my 3-lane oval?
You know, I tried posting a link on their Swift Slots of Harry's build, but it won't let me post links on there. So if you go to Home Racing World, not to get off the subject, Harry's track is what is it, Dave? It's like 16 feet long and 5 feet wide, right?
5 wide by 16 long. Yeah. How long
Yeah.
is yours?
Mine is
Your track is
14 long. 14
Okay, yeah,
and
Harry's
5
is 2
wide.
foot longer than yours, so he's 16 by 5.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's up to you, Swift Slots, how much room you have. If you have a longer straight, it's nicer because the cars could accelerate. Because oval racing encourages pack racing and speeds. That's why you have oval racing here in the U.S. with NASCAR, and it just creates more of a, fun factor. So that depends how much room you have. But if you go to Home Racing World, there's Harry's documented his track build for the current one he has. And then I have a small video of mine, but it's okay. But I would go to Harry's instead.
I recommend you go as long as you can go, Rob. Like 16 feet would be great because you're going to be primarily racing your big 124 scale cars. So that's I would go if you can do 16 foot. That's kind of the perfect length. That's like the funnest track right there. It just the action, like you say, George. The action it's crazy.
And you have open wheel cars, it's even better because then they hop off.
So that's about 5
Yeah.
meters.
I was
I
gonna
guess
say,
that's about 5 meters
so-
over there.
Yeah,
Somebody
because
convert that to metric.
16 foot is about
4.7
4.87, 4.88
Yeah.
meters. So, yeah.
And 5 feet wide is what?
It's okay. I'm not buying any more Carrera. As long as they make Porsche 911 RSRs, I'll continue to buy Carrera product. There you go. So don't worry. I just VWs, Dave's making VWs and I gotta build a VW line. I gotta have enough to make a full production line. It'd be cool to make a full production line for slot cars.
God, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, with robotic arms and everything.
There you go. Talk about that AI stuff again. Watch out. You're going to get everybody upset in the chat.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, here goes. Shane, are the bridges inspired by the Golden Gate Bridge? They're really cool. There you go.
Yeah, definitely. One of the bridges. I had a look at a whole bunch, but
I
the
can
real
really see
inspiration
that.
came from the Carrera Go plastic one. And they
Uh,
didn't have a 132 scale, so I looked at the Golden Gate and a couple that we have out here in Australia, and I sort of thought, well, how can I easily put this together with the crap I've got in the back shed? And that's what I came up with. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And Jimmy
really,
Z
the Golden
has
Gate, huh? I didn't know that. I didn't really pay attention to that, to be honest.
yeah.
Kind of embarrassed because I was born right near the Golden Gate Bridge, was the hospital building. I didn't really notice that bridge too much being Golden Gate.
Wow, I really nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Jimmy Z says, "Gents, as I'm getting started, do you think I can get away with a 5 wide by 12-foot long table?" And the question that you always have to ask first is, what kind of track are you putting down? Is it a wood track, or like wood track? You can pretty much route whatever you want, right? But if it's a plastic track, you're limited by size because Carrera will not fit very well in a 5-foot wide space.
Uh,
You get very
Unless you're
tight
an
turns.
oval.
Yeah, you need tight turn oval too, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. So just let us know what kind of track you're building. Um, he has a 12 by 18-foot shed. Which you will, which you will put your track on? Huh? I don't understand.
if you had a 12 by 18-foot shed, what track would you put in it? Maybe that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
would I would make a 6 by 18 track in there. If I had a 12 by 18 shed, I would leave 6 foot on one side of the track to work and do whatever else I needed. But 18 foot long by 12 by 6 foot wide, that'd make, especially if you're building an oval, that'd be a hell of an oval. But
Yeah,
even at that, you could even probably go another foot wider. Make it 7 foot wide if you were going to put a plastic track. Use it for to make different tracks on or whatever. If that was 7 by 18, that'd be a pretty good sized table.
Yeah, I
yeah.
couldn't
Give
go any
yourself some
longer on
space.
mine because of the space limitation. Because that room's pretty big up there, but 16 feet, it wouldn't have made it. So that's why I did 14 feet.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
can't.
yeah, you gotta give yourself a little bit of room to move around the track if you're gonna build something that you're gonna take apart and reconfigure. So yeah, just give yourself some room.
They could probably make a decent Daytona style track with multi lanes and high banks in that
Yeah,
Yeah,
space. That might work.
that'd be cool
That'd be
too.
Uh,
pretty fun.
I'd that shape.
yeah.
Hey, cool at you two.
So Sunday says he'll do a 6 by 12 for the shed, in my opinion. And Sunday builds a lot of a lot of layouts for people. So yeah, there's a lot of good information there.
Hopefully, with my CNC, I can route some stuff, some tracks.
Yeah,
We'll
how
see
far
how.
along are you with the CNC? We never got to hear about what you've been up to this week.
I got the gantry built. I still need to finish putting a few more parts on that and get the electronic board, the control board, and stuff put on, and then I need to build the table. So I want to be able to put it away. So I think what I'm going to do is get those sawhorses that have the 2x4
Yep.
slots on the side, and then build a 4x8 table that'll sit right in that, and then that way I can take the table, lift it up, and sit it up against the wall, fold up the sawhorses, and just put it all away. That way, it's not taking up room all the time.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's eventually I want to build a wall or a table that slides up on the wall, but just to get me started and going, I can go with some sawhorses and put a table on that and put it away when I'm done. For now.
Yeah, there's never enough space, is there?
Yeah,
No.
the bigger you go, even still, not enough space.
Now that's the whole thing about like, yeah. I just got yeah, I got a wild idea coming out, but I'm not gonna share it right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
More AI.
I wanted to use
More AI.
every piece of track I ever owned. I want to make a track as big as that, and yeah, so, but I can only do it next summer. I can't do it during the winter. So we'll have to wait till next year. Any ideas what you guys are gonna do for Halloween? Any video ideas? George, you're
Hide.
sitting behind the alien Wonderland behind you. You got to do something for Halloween.
What do you mean, like a video? Like, I don't know. Like,
You got to do a Halloween video. Come on.
I guess. I mean, I never really thought of it. Usually, what I do is I put my Ghostbusters car and let it go
Yeah.
around the track. No, I have a Ghostbusters car. Believe it or not, it lights up. It makes the sound.
Yeah.
So
Do something really,
Where?
really
Where is
cheesy
it?
and take a spaceship and put some fishing string on it and make it like it's flying down in the old movies, and then have the Ghostbusters car on there.
this actually is a functioning
Oh, look at that.
noisemaker. So all the things light up, and it's got a siren, the
Wait,
echo
George.
siren.
Wait. Let me put you on big screen here. There you go.
This is actually considered my very first scratch belt, but with underneath, as you can see, another slot car chassis, and this is the front wheel. So it's a six
Ah,
wheeler.
cool.
And it's got a digital chip. I covered the eye because I don't want it changing lanes because this could only run in the middle lane.
Right.
And if you want me to put it on and you want to see it, I can show it. That's up to you guys.
Of course.
Switch cameras.
Let's do it. Let's see it.
All right.
You know what? I got Shane in here. Wait a second. 1 second.
Hold on a second. I still got to put the power on, so I got to change it.
Boom. There we go.
Yeah.
Shane is there.
All right.
All right. We're about to see the Ghostbusters.
Where do you get that UFO from?
Look at that. That's cool.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's pretty awesome, George.
Yeah.
Harry's got one. I built one for Harry out of a brass chassis. So,
That's
there you
great.
So the UFO, actually, this is a model kit that you could get.
Yeah.
And you put lights in it, just like that one there. The other one is a model kit. The mountain my wife made for me, and she had her idea on how to make it, and then I actually cut out the garages here to fit in the mountain.
Cool.
So I don't know if you can see the mountain really, but right here, when you pass
Yeah.
the beam, there's some flash photography that goes off. If you can see it there, it's kind of hard to see.
Oh yeah. Pretty cool.
If you see any other videos that I've done when I'm using this track, it lights up and like they're taking photos. So
Is that like an Arizona background there on the
kind of more like a
right-hand side?
Nevada-ish type of thing because Boone Lake
Nevada,
is in
yeah.
Nevada because it has those. Dee Dee did that. She drew that out, and I didn't do that. I'm not that talented. Sorry. She's the one that helped me
Cool.
out with that. And then the rocks are painted by me. They're floral foam, and you just shake them in the rocks and use some cheap Kmart paint or whatever, Walmart paint, and paint it up. Then the UFO
Cool.
right here. You know what? Let me see if my phone will connect to the eCam. I can get it to do it, which I don't think it can. But well, let me do this. Oh, I don't want that. No, stop. Not what I want. Trying to, what? Screw it. I ain't gonna do it because I won't be able to because I can't figure it out right now. Anyways, get me
No
off the screen,
worries.
please. Thanks.
Take me off quickly.
Take me off. I'm embarrassed. I can't show the other side of the mountain, so.
All right, no worries. I'll take you off, George.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Well, I think that's it for the show today. I hope everyone kind of got some questions answered, and everyone got to talk to Shane in person. Your first live stream, right?
First.
There you go.
Keep it going. We like the channel. It's great.
What time is it there right now, Shane?
It is 10:49 a.m. I just got a little message from my daughter. She's off to the burger shop saying, "Do you want some burgers?" Yes.
Oh, there you go.
So we're coming up on lunchtime.
Yeah. Really
Cool.
cool. Well, Shane, it's always been a pleasure. We
Thanks
chat
for
a lot
having me.
offline, and it's awesome. Thank you so much. Keep on doing those crazy cool videos. We cannot wait for season 3.
Yeah.
In the meantime, take a good break, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to your Halloween special. So don't
Okay, I'll
disappoint
see what I
me.
can
Don't
do.
disappoint me. Gotta go.
There was a skeleton in one of the shops. Maybe that'll factor into it.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we'll touch base later, and thank you so much for being here. And thank you for everyone in the chat who participated today, gave us ideas, gave us great movie names. You know, asked a lot of cool questions. We thank you so much. And yeah, we'll definitely, here we go. Ragtop wants you to come back. We all want you to come back. So
Yep.
whenever you feel up to it again, just let us know.
Great.
Um,
Pleasure.
Cool.
Pleasure to have you.
Enjoyed it.
and until
Great
next
fun.
time, we'll say bye to the chat. And I'm going to finish the live
Bye.
stream.
Yeah.
Everyone stay online because after the chat is after we got offline, we still talk